I'm Colin Daniel from riffninja.com. Welcome. And this is lesson number 3 in a series of 3, so this is the last one. So you better watch the first 2 or you're going to look at me and go, what's he talking about? Because I'm not going over everything that I gave you in the other 2 lessons. You got to pay attention. All right. What are we up to? Well, we've been talking about power chord secrets. That's using a 2-note harmony to substitute or create a rhythm. There's lots of ways to do it, but these are just some of the examples. And now we're going to have a look at another way to create a 2-note harmony. We've covered the 1 and 5, which was a power chord. The inverted fourths. Or, you know, and those are inversions. You hear them a lot. On 6th and 5th string, you know, 5th and 4th string, they work really good. Even on the 4th and 3rd string, they all work good. Those are all inverted fourths. And now I'm going to talk to you about thirds. Yep, thirds. There are 2 types of thirds. Major third and minor third. Depending on how much knowledge you have and how much theory you have, I'm assuming you're more in the beginner end of the guitar than in the advanced. So I'm going to take it more from that approach. But really, besides the 4th and the 5th that we've been discussing, like the inverted 4th and the perfect 5th, 1, 4, and 5 are our 3 primary harmonies. They're very, very important. They're a skeletal harmonic structure of our music, right? But our first color interval is the 3rd. That's a very important one because if we play a G perfect 5th power chord and we add 1 more note, we have a G chord, you see. And all we have to do is add a B to it. If we were to play a G, a B, and a D, that automatically becomes a G major. And it has the major third in it, right? So that's the color note. I call it a color note because 1, 4, and 5 is neutral. And I just want you to learn a shape, and we're just going to take it in 1 key for the moment. We're going to take it in G major. There's 2 shapes you need to know, and they come out of chords you already know. The first shape is the major third. Here I've got a major third that came right out of my basic open G major chord. Here it is on the 6th and 5th string, a G and a B. That's a G major third. That's a C major third. That's a D major third. You could pick it. It's not a chord though. It's a major third interval. Now I want to give you an example of how that works. So this is the major pattern, and the minor pattern is related to what they call flatted third. So G major is here, and this is my third, the B. So if I flat it to B flat, and if you remember in the Smoke on the Water riff, it goes, and I called the B flat the minor third. Well, guess what? In our interval, that's minor third. Now, G major third and G minor third do not sound good together because they're totally opposite keys. I'm just giving you the comparison here. We're going to go to G major, and we're going to use a combination of thirds that belong in G major and E minor. It's relative minor, you know, and we're going to put it together into a little riff that came out of a song by the Scorpions called The Zoo, and it's the intro to it. And I'm not going to show you the whole thing and give you all the details. It's not a transcription. It's a study of how to use these thirds. At the end, I'll play it for you, but I'm not going to spoon feed you, okay? First, you need to learn the intervals and the theory behind it before I do anything else with you. All right, so because I think this is going to be enough for you to tackle as it is, right, is what I'm saying. So it's in G major, and we're basing it on the 5th string root. And here's my G major, 1 octave higher. And our minor third, we're going to play an A minor third, a G major third, an F sharp minor, and an E minor. Those are the 4 intervals that we're going to use. 1 major, 3 minor, right? The G majors here, notice the fingering, right? For a minor third, if I want a G minor third, I use my first and third finger. If I want a G major third, I usually use my first and second finger, right? And it just makes sense when you're changing. It's easier. I can go from my G major third to my F sharp minor third just by taking my third finger and catching the F sharp as I slide my first finger down to the 7th fret to get the minor third. And then here's E minor, right? So this is going to replace what you would normally have to play in a chord, but it's not a chord, it's only 2 notes, right? We have one more minor interval, and that's A minor. There's my root A, there's my minor third. A minor, and it's in scale, right? Goes from A down to G, to F sharp, to E. And you can practice just moving these intervals up and down and striking only the 2 strings you need in the interval. That's the 5th and the 4th string. This is E minor, and there's many combinations. There's other, of course, lots of other songs that use these on different groups of strings and in different keys. But we've just taken the one key. I can't cover it all. This is a very good place to start. So G major, A minor, G. So A minor, G major, F sharp, minor, E minor. And now the order for the beginning to the zoo goes from A minor to G. And then back up, right? So it goes A, G, that's A minor third, G major third, right? A, G, A, G. And after that, the move is from the G to the F sharp minor third, to the E minor third, and then back up to the F sharp and to the G. And that's where it concludes. So it's like this. That's the order. Now there's more going on. There's the crunch going for you old heavy metal fans. You know, for you guys that have been listening to metal since it began. They add a drone to it and then play these intervals with it. Isn't that cool? Now, I'm not expecting you to get that. That's why I'm not going to make a big scene about it. You need to get those intervals down. And then if you know those intervals really well and you watch this again, you watch what I'm doing here at this point in the lesson, you'll get it right away. You've got to learn the intervals first, okay? Now I got one more thing for you, and then I'm going to send you on your way. All right. In Brown Eyed Girl, instead of chords in the Van Morrison Brown Eyed Girl, because it's based on G, C, and D, we're still in the key of G major. Now we're going to apply that same interval knowledge, the same thing I just taught you here, and we're going to apply it in Brown Eyed Girl by following the chord progression. The chords are G, C, and D, right? So they start. You can start here. You can start in several places. There's a G major third here, and a G major third here. I like the G major third using the 2nd and 3rd string, and I just kink my first finger up a little bit, and I mute that first string. And that's my G major third. Now I'm going to go G major third. Now if that's my major third, then this must be minor. It's because the 3rd and 2nd string are 1 fret less distance than any of the other string relations. But that 3rd to 2nd string is 1 fret less in distance than, say, the 6th to the 5th, the 5th to the 4th, or the 4th to the 3rd, or even the 2nd to the 1st string. They all have the same distance in between them tuning-wise, but the 3rd and the 2nd don't. They have 1 fret less, which is why your major third looks like this instead of like this. And your minor third looks like this shape instead of like this. So here's the G major. Then with my 2nd and 3rd finger, I play 13th. So this was at the 12th fret. I'm assuming you know a little more about the guitar than me having to totally spoon feed you at this point. But this is at the 12th fret, 2nd and 3rd string. Now I'm going to go 2nd string, 13th fret, and 3rd string, 14th fret. And it's going to go like this. Now I'm going to take this move here, because this is G major 3rd. This is A minor 3rd. And this is B minor 3rd. You take the A minor 3rd and move it 2 frets up, and you have B minor 3rd. So now you have. Where have you heard that before? There's the G change, the G major change. Now, we're going to go to the C and the D change. How are we going to do that? Well, all we have to do is find a C, and there's a C right here. So there's my C major 3rd, and now it goes back because I'm crossing the 2nd and the 1st string. I'm back to the same pattern that I was using on the same pattern I was using on the 5th and 4th string, right? Because they're the same distance apart. Now it's really the same pattern I just taught you, adding the B minor, because I taught you earlier for that the intervals to the Zoo by the Scorpions were like this, you know, where you had A minor and G. Well, if that's G major, that's A minor, then that's B minor. Listen. There, it's the same notes, 2 octaves lower. Now go to the C, back to the G, and then to the D. Well, here's D if you want. I'm not going to go into like a dead-on transcription of what was done here. It's more complicated to explain it in theory. I'll just say for now, learn to play the D position. If you can't reach it up higher like this D up higher in the higher register, and you find it too awkward, you can play it down here with my D here, an octave lower. So you could go G, C, G, D. Just like that. Still the same pattern. I just went to the lower octave. So that should give you lots of option. Have fun with this. This should open some doors for you music period, because this stuff's used all the time. You really should learn more about your theory. This is a good place to start. These intervals can be played all over the guitar, and there's many famous songs that use them, as you can see even in these last 3 lessons. I've proved that to you. So maybe you should be paying a little more attention to that. Appreciate your time. I've read all your a lot of you folks that have wrote comments that follow me and follow my lessons. I've read your comments, and thank you for all the positive encouragement. And it's been awesome teaching you. And we'll see you soon again. Thank you.